Hey friends, for our tutorial this week we are doing Amazing Grace by John Newton. You can follow along with the chord sheet that is linked in the description of this video. First of all, make sure that your strings are tuned. They should sound like that, and make sure your fingernails are short on your fretting hand so they don't get in the way when you're pressing down on the strings. So we're going to go over the chords we need to know for this song, the first note to sing, and a couple of easy strumming suggestions that you can try out. So the chords we need for this song are C, F, G, and then there's a couple of bonus chords, G7 and C7. So let's go over how to play those. For C, you can use pretty much any finger you like on your fretting hand to press down on the 3rd fret of the A string, like that, and the rest of the strings are open. For F, you can use your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, an index finger on the 1st fret of the E string, and the other two are open. You can also play F just with one finger on this 1st fret of the E string. It's very similar to this F, so you can try that out if it feels better. For G, I like to use my index finger on the 2nd fret of the C string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E. And then some people find G7 easier, and if that's the case, you can play G7 in place of G in this song. So the way to play G7 is to put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the C, ring finger on 2nd fret of the A, and index finger on 1st fret of the E. You can also try out different fingers, see what works best for you. And then C7, you just take your index finger and put it on the 1st fret of the A, and the rest are open. If you prefer not to play the C7, you can just carry on playing the C. The first note to sing is G, so we find the G string and play it. Sing it, ooh, or ooh. And in this case, I'm going to start on the low. So, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. That's how this song is going to go. So we're going to play it in a few different ways with different strums. The first way we're going to play it is just one down strum on every underlined syllable. That's the simplest way to play it. And so we'll do that for the first verse. So follow along with me, and here we go. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Or you can do G7. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Great. Now for verse 2, let's do a different kind of strumming pattern. Let's do a grace that taught my heart to fear. So it's going to be a down, 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 like that. So here we go. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieves. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. So for every single syllable that I sang, I just did a down strum. So that can make it a little bit easier when you're singing and playing at the same time to do the same thing so that your brain doesn't have to think about too many different things at once. For the third verse, let's do a down, up strumming pattern. So on the syllables that are underlined, you can do a down strum. And on the syllables that are not underlined, you can do an up strum. So let's try it. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead Great. Now for the fourth verse, I'll let you pick whichever pattern you like the best out of those three, or you can come up with your own as well. Remember, all of these patterns are just suggestions. What's important is that you do a pattern that feels good to you and where you're at your ukulele journey. I always recommend doing simple down strums at the beginning until that becomes really comfortable, and then you can start to add in some up strums and some different things. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.